Welcome to QueerTWENTY, the cohort of 2023. QueerTWENTY is EgoMo's annual flagship program where we celebrate exceptional queer Indians every year. Today we have Ketan Bajaj. Ketan is a Nat Cat Specialist at a reinsurance company and a gold medalist Ph.D. from Indian Institute of Sciences. He also runs a webzine called the Sanskari Gay with his partner. Without further ado, let's welcome Ketan. Ketan, thank you so much for joining us on QueerTWENTY today. Then, my first question to you is on queer stereotypes. So, amongst many of the cons that queer stereotypes hold, one is how it hinders the efforts to build solidarity and intersectionality and allyship, especially from non-queer folks. So, in your experience, could you tell us few examples as to where you have noticed that queer stereotypes have hampered the efforts in bridging allyship gap?
Yes, when it comes to allyship, I feel it comes from within, but sometimes it happens for non-queer ally. Is like when I was talking to them, they usually get comments like, "Are you also a part of a community?" And some of my allies, they got the comments was not good for them, so they eventually have to leave being ally and all, because I was like, okay, if it is hampering you, it's not good for you to be in, to support for that. But this happens a lot, still people have those stereotypes. If you're supporting something, you are a part of it. No, they understood the cause. Maybe they have seen someone from their family or from their friends who is struggling with that. That's why they're coming forward to support us and all. But it takes time, people, some of them like very strong and all, no, we have to support us, say whatever you want. But some of the new generation people, they still feel that from their own group, on their own friendship group, they might have feel some backlash or something. So this happens a lot with allies, when it comes to stereotypes and all. And when it comes to being queer, I mean, especially when it comes to like this workplace and all, what I observed, what I may be wrong in that observation, but what I observed, what women's were facing in 90s, we as a queer, we are still facing that. Like, for example, uh, I got an early promotion, and some of the noises I heard is like he might have slept with his boss to get that promotion and all. And that's like, no, bro, I have a degree. I have shown him like, okay, I am part of a team and I can do a lot more than that. That's why I'm getting. It's not because sleeping is an option. And then these are the things. And then there are few, when it comes to the queer, especially trans people, uh, there are certain stereotypes in the workplace, अच्छा ये trans है, so give them only Excel work. Why? A queer cannot lead a team. And some of the comments, like, I don't know whether they joke around or something, people give me, oh, being gay, you can code. Dude, yes, I can code. It's not like my sexuality is something related to being a coder or not. So, yeah, so these stereotypes. And then gays are supposed to be in fashion industry. No, dude. People of the K community or the K communities are winning Olympics. What are you? Are you still in your like still independent days, or like 1947, that you have still that thinking and all. So these stereotypes are there. Many of us are working towards breaking that stereotypes. Yes, being a queer, I can also be being I can also code, or I can do much more efficient work than you. Right? My sexuality does not impact. Oh, but that's real. That's real. Many times random people message me like, it will not work. बाय लोग तो ऐसे ही होते हैं, ये यूज करके छोड़ देगा. यूज करके छोड़ना होता तो 5 साल पहले ही छोड़ देता. अब क्या छोड़ेगा? अब तो हम लोग बूढ़े हो गए हैं, अब क्या ही छोड़ेगा वो. and then and to him, people many times when he come out as bisexual and all, people ask him, aren't you confused? Like, how come you being a bi in a relationship with a guy and all. Then उसने छोड़ दिया समझाना, to be very frank, उसने छोड़ दिया समझाना, उसने बोला it's like कि Google है, go search what bisexuality is. I'm done with you guys. like, he's like, if you are saying me you are gay, I'm accepting you. If I'm saying I'm bi, there is a big question mark on my bisexuality. Then I also understood about bisexuality when I was in a relationship. Before also, I also, I have also like bi log to ladkiyon se shaadi karte hain and all. But now I also, educate myself what actually bisexuality is all about. What is it? Then one thing I understood, it's not about 50-50. It's always like, maybe there are proportions are different. So that's what he made me understand. He said, like, he's attracted towards girl, but for a very nominal sexual section. But when it comes to emotion, he could not connect with a girl. He only could connect with a guy. So even though a part of me, a just small part of me want to be the girl, but I know I could not survive that because he's been into few relationship with girls and he said I could not survive. He said like the way I could connect with a guy is a bit different than to a girl. So then I understood, okay, there are different parts you connect with the different genders and all. Yeah, and still people आते जाते लोग बोल ही जाते हैं कुछ ना कुछ उसे. Recently he put a post about his bisexuality, his bisexual week, and still he got some messages and all. Then now he learned how to ignore. So he usually ignore and like I'm not going to educate them. I'm done with that. So yeah,
So,
that's
Ketan, because your partner is like vocal about his bisexual orientation, and you both are a part of community. Has it ever happened that, like, his openness about his sexuality has changed attitudes or behaviors for both of you within the community?
uh not in a much bigger magnitude because those who are close to us, they understood the relationship and they understood like how we mean each other. But when it comes to a completely stranger and all, we receive comments like maybe they have seen a gay and a bisexual people didn't work out, or they might have their own baggage, or maybe out of some sense they are telling me or something. I understand, I appreciate that, but not every I always tell them like not every relationship is same. When you like a person, you like a person, that's it. It's very simple in that, if I have to put it in simple person. Yeah. And but yeah, he's from his side also, he also nowadays getting more uncomfortable when it's a lot of a gay crowd. He said like people judge me and I don't want to get judged, and I don't want people to question you in our relationship.
The purpose of me asking this question is when you are dating someone who belongs to a particular sexual identity that has lot of phobic and views and misconceptions attached to it, what is your strategy to best support this partner? Because you can't shut people up, right?
Yes,
But
yes,
there
yes.
has to be something that you can do for this partner. So what has worked for you?
The thing that worked for us is, we stopped comparing our relationship with others. We said we are unique in our way. People cannot understand our struggle, and we might not understand their struggle if they are in some particular relationship. So we should not compare because it's our individuality. We come together and we know each other कि कोई किसी को कहीं छोड़ के नहीं जाने वाला, एक दूसरे का ही खून पियेंगे जब तक ब्लड ग्रुप सेम ना हो जाए. So one thing is that, and then sometimes we respect each other's boundary. Like we have been called to different event as a couple, and if he say no, for me his no matter a lot because I don't want to go in an event where he's not comfortable. So and he respect me as well, like if you want to go ahead, I don't care. Ja. So we respect that boundary and space for each other. And yeah, and one thing is like that was very much uh, defined in our relationship. One is the monogamy because we cannot We that's what very much clear. I was very much clear, he was also clear, like we cannot be in open. It's one. And the other thing is, we find out there is one golden rule for us. It's like, अगर तू चिल्ला रहा है तो मैं चुप रहूंगा, अगर मैं चिल्ला रहा हूँ तो तू चुप रहेगा. Like we have to listen to each other. So that, that's kind of a golden rule.
So you mentioned that you are doing like you are conducting this passion project, which is a research on like how blackmailing and extortion is going on Grindr. Could you lay down some context for our viewers as to one, why you took this research in the first place, and what is happening? What are you observing?
So if that's it's very on the individual level, like especially after COVID, I have seen a lot of news, about people getting extorted or blackmailed, or a lot of things happen via Grindr, and which I feel like for gay community, okay, this is the only platform we could meet people, be it in a relationship or not in a relationship. But and and then something happened with a very close of mine, which which I was like, why I was not there, to make him understand, okay, this could happen and this could not happen. And then there was a movie called Badhai Do, where there was, the Bhumi was molested being lesbian via dating app. There was some guy, he was blackmailing uh, that. So then something triggered. I don't know why that triggered, and this thing triggered. I was like, let's observe the pattern. Actually, what is happening? And me being a PhD guy, वो दिमाग में कीड़ा है कि pattern observe करना है तो करना है. So that was there, and then I was trying to try to understand, reading different newspapers and all, okay, what is the pattern is happening and all. And I experimented as well. I was in a Delhi, and I installed Grindr, of course, with his permission. Like I want to do it, and he's like, हाँ तो जो करना है कर. And he's like, and then what the pattern I have observed is like, maybe that was my experience. Uh, there were 4 to 5 people that messages me on Grindr, and I found this is suspicious at that time, because clean, the body and all those messages and all, it's away from the regular messages you receive and all. And then I understood, okay, so it's not like one person who is leading this kind of things. There is a gang who is working on that, and their pattern of messages are also same. And I was shocked, and I understood, okay, they are not a part of the community. They just understand there is an app called Grindr where you can extort gay people. And because I was in Delhi for not very long, so I could not do much, and I'm still feeling bad about it. And like I should have done something, and I was not know like who should I go to get support and all. So then I understood, okay, it's some gang. They have their different people who are working in such direction, who extort, especially to the new profile if they observe in that area. Maybe luckily I was in that area at that time, so I observed that. And then I start talking to people. Few of the people I know, those get blackmailed. I mean, there are a lot of people I know. So then I was trying to understand what is happening. So first thing is like, many of us are in closet, so they give the first dhamkis, like they'll put you out, like they'll out you if you will not give that amount of money. So people definitely get scared. Second pattern I observed, usually they call you near to Delhi metro. I That all observation is from Delhi only. I have not tried it in Bangalore, so I cannot go to any anything very substantiate out of it, but these are my observations. And then many times it happens they call you near to the metro and Delhi metro, and then uh, there are 4 5 people. I have seen it in 4 cases that happened. They called you into Delhi metro, and then all the 4 looted you. So this is also happening. And then I asked people, why are you not reporting them? So one thing is, If they report it, they have to be out. So because of being in the closet, they cannot report it, because definitely the things procession and everything will come up and they cannot do. Second thing they said, they have to give whatever at that time. So my friend, they took around 50,000 from one of him, and that's a big money.
So it is a very, very toxic thing to do and a very traumatic thing to bear. With that as context, um, do you have any suggestions or any idea for queer folks and especially gay folks who are using Grindr? Because it is a tool of social connecting with people.
So one thing is like, make sure you meet someone in a public place. Having said that, it should not be a metro, to be very frank. Somewhere in the public place where you could at least shout if something has happened, right? So because your safety is first, and then do proper research. I mean, like, ask, like, it's okay. I should not use that word, but let me use that word. I'm sorry about that. If lust is heavy on it, just masturbate and sleep. Don't risk your life. I'm sorry. I told people, just do whatever, but don't risk your life. Do proper research. Ask them from their Insta. Ask them from their, if you want, ask them from the LinkedIn as well. There's no harm in asking LinkedIn and the dating app. Ask them, because it's your life at the end of the day that has to be safe. And always when you're going out with a stranger, make sure you tell your friend about it. Right? Share your current location. So if something happened, they should be alarmed. Okay, there is something is happening. So do that. And one more thing I always say, like, right now, after 377, a lot of events are happening in and around the city. Maybe not in a small town, it's still difficult, but if you are in metro cities, and go there and meet people, instead of believing much on dating app nowadays. And it would be good, because when you know them face to face physically, their friends and all, so you get much better idea at that time. So that's one of the safest way to meet people. But many of being in closet cannot go with this way. It's still difficult for many of them to go to such events, and and they have their own past and own burden with them, that always make sure, like, to step out of it. And but that's the only option. But make sure, like, your safety is first. You have to ensure it. So check everything before going on a date with someone. Check everything.
Um, if you were to give advice uh, to small town queers, to queers who do not hail from metro cities, in navigating your and to just navigating your adult journey as a queer, right? What would those, let's say, 3 points of advice be?
If you ask me about those advice, one thing I'll definitely say, we tend to compare a lot, and me being from the small town, and I've been judged by a person who is from a metropolitan city. Oh, तुमको तो ये भी नहीं पता, dude, मुझे, I never get that education, till the time in my college, I was like, why I am different. And if you ask my story, like, something happened in my childhood that was really horrible, and I thought I'm getting because of that. And also, like, when I was in my college time, I still struggle, a lot. I was struggling a lot, uh, why to be, I was in a relationship with a girl, but why I could not attach with her, why cannot I care for her that much, and why I was always looking to someone else boyfriend, not to a girlfriend. you know because at that time I was not aware of things, and many for a year long I was thinking, I was the only one. Because that time there was no education for us at that time. Okay, there's something called gay term exist. I was very, very new in my college. Only I understood, okay, there is something called gay exist. And during those days there was conversion therapy, and I went to that, and it was really painful. It is like really painful for me, emotionally torturing yourself in that way, to make you understand things which you are not understanding. So that was very horrible at that time. First time is not compare, and second, not to me being a small town, but the person from a metropolitan, we have our own baggage. Please respect that baggage.
Describe your coming out experience in one word.
Struggle.
What queer stereotype annoys you the most?
Hey, okay, fashion sense नहीं है.
What is one thing you would like to see change for queer community in our lifetime?
Don't compare.
So pick one, drag show or a queer poetry slam.
Queer Fuji's
One, like for one line guidance for leadership folks, for queer inclusion.
understand.
Okay. So now I'm going to say a couple of words and I would like your instant reaction to it or like anything, the first image, the first word that pops in your head kinds, right? Diversity and inclusion,
Must.
allyship,
Comes within.
transphobia,
It exists.
India,
Development.
queer stories.
Inspiration.
Thank you for this.